There are 4 things that have been actually helping my PTSD to get better, which is so exciting to see myself progressing through the PTSD. The thing is, it is terrifying for me to share these things with you, and at the end I'm going to share why it is so scary to share these things that have helped me. The first thing that has really helped is grounding. Grounding is so important for getting you out of those PTSD triggers. This guy is great for grounding. If you've got pets, use them for grounding. Use them to help you get better. Grounding was the first thing that my therapist was like, okay, you've had trauma, you need to ground, you need to bring yourself into the present, because PTSD is all about being thrown back into the past. Other things that have helped me, using a weighted blanket, a drink of tea. So being in an environment like this is perfect for grounding. It's a great place to be mindful of the sounds, like can you hear the river behind me? And the crunch of the autumn leaves on the ground is another great grounding thing. Especially for me, one of the things with me was when I was traumatized, I was actually in a wheelchair and couldn't really walk very far. So to be able to come out, be in nature, walk, go on a bike ride with Momo, those sort of things are very grounding because they're things I couldn't actually do in that past situation. So if you think about something to do with your trauma that you couldn't do then, doing it now helps you just trigger you, I'm not back then, I'm in the present, I'm now. Once I'd been doing the grounding, then I moved on to the second thing that's really helped me, which has been therapy. Now, I'm really lucky that I already had an established relationship with a therapist before I got PTSD. We've been working through other issues that I've had because I have had anxiety, depression in the past. I have benefited so much myself personally from doing therapy. Getting therapy is key to overcoming trauma, I believe. So we did a range of things through talking about the trauma in a safe environment where she was able to bring me back to the present and keep me grounded and see when I was getting triggered and I was beyond a point of being able to process. Also, she's been really working with me on feeling feelings, which we talked about in one of the other videos. Learning to feel the hard stuff, feel the pain, the grief, the anger, the fear of being out of control. Being able to experience and feel those feelings has helped me to open myself up to feeling in general. So the third thing that has been really helping me has been actually doing these videos. And with that, I've been getting exposure and getting out and trying things. Went into a movie solo. I went for my first flight since the PTSD. So those sort of exposures have helped widen up my world, helped me to realize that I can do things, I do have control. And one of the difficulties I found with PTSD is you can start getting into this spiral of avoidance where you avoid something because you got triggered, and then you avoid something else, and then it can get to the point where you get agoraphobia, where you are stuck at home. Pushing those boundaries, going to places that are scary and triggering, is actually really helpful for working through that PTSD. I've been finding that really helpful. I actually talked through 8 tips on how to do an exposure like that in one of my other videos, which we will link down below, so check that out. And then the other thing about sharing in these videos is that it also gets over that shame hurdle. PTSD can come with a lot of shame about what happened, shame that you got traumatized when other people might not have got traumatized. It's hard and triggering to start with, but actually I found that the more I am open, not necessarily sharing the story of what happened, but just sharing that I struggle with PTSD with people, has actually made it less triggering for me. The fourth thing that has been really helpful has been setting life goals and moving forward with my life. The thing with PTSD is about getting really stuck in that past, and if you can start focusing on future things like developing a channel and looking after my son Maximus, those sort of things help ground me in the present and also help me to look forward into the future and see good things coming for me, which is really important. It's been really helping. Also trying for Momo. It was a goal of mine to get him as a service dog, and even just going through those steps, even though it hasn't resulted in him being able to be a service dog, knowing that I did everything I could to get there. It's interesting because I think that connects to the PTSD as well, because it's often these, what if I did this and what if this had happened? And to actually go through something now and say, right now I'm going to do everything I can do for this thing, and it didn't work out. It does help reprocess, I think. It helps you go, hey, even when I do everything, it doesn't always work out. So I don't need to beat myself up for what happened back then. Those are the 4 things that I found have really helped. I hope they might help you as well. Grounding to start with, getting therapy, doing these videos, sharing, being open with people about it. And then lastly, setting those future goals, looking forward, seeing myself in the future as well, not just in the past. So the other thing I said was that this video was really hard to make, and you might be wondering why. So it is really scary to share that I've improved. It's scary to say that things have helped me. And why is it scary? Well, I guess it's that fear that maybe I'll get worse. Maybe this is temporary and it won't last. I really want this channel to be a channel that gives hope, a channel that shows people that you can work through PTSD, that PTSD is not a life sentence. And it scares me, I guess, putting that forward, because what if I don't get out of it? I'm so worried about not getting better, but sometimes I can overlook the fact that I'm not having trauma nightmares anymore, which I did have previously. I'm not getting triggered nearly as frequently, and even when I do, I'm able to ground myself and bring myself back into the present way easier than I used to. So I think it's very easy to undermine the progress that you have had, especially as someone who's complex, who has been doing therapy for a while and going through that process. So I just want to encourage you, if you're feeling or thinking any of those things, that to just kind of take a step back and look at how far you've actually come, and I think you'd be surprised. I think also with PTSD, there's this sort of comparing trauma thing. Is my trauma worse than your trauma? And there's that fear that maybe what I went through wasn't valid because maybe somebody else could have gone through that without getting traumatized. All PTSD is valid, regardless of how you got it. And you deserve to get better, and you deserve to have help to work through it. So even though it's been scary making this video, I'm really glad I have. It's so important to share our stories and share our progress. Even though it's scary, because sharing doing well is always that back of mind fear. What if I get worse? What if my mind wasn't legitimate in the first place? And I'm really glad I have shared it with you, because I would hate for you to be feeling those things and feeling alone in that. And my big push at the moment is that people not feel alone in this, that they know that they are in good company and that there is a way through this, that there's hope. If you found this video helpful, please like it and subscribe. I'd love to have you join me on my future vlogs. And if you've got any suggestions of things that you have found helpful with PTSD, please comment below. Let's see how many things. There's a certain number of things. Poor Michael, squatting there. If you just see Michael's poor hurting face as he got up and then repositioned himself.